Alright, hello guys. Today we are gonna do the final comparing of two ideologies, but this one will be a lot more different. Alright, this one will be about two large, very popular known um, ideologies. On the side is democracy, and one side is democracy and communism. So, first thing, let's talk about their symbol. Democracy has usually an eagle at their symbol, but communism we have this symbol, which I will draw for you guys. It has a hammer for the factory workers, a sickle for the farmers, and just a nice little not that big, and just nice little touch is a little star here. Right. So that is already one difference. The second thing is that democracy has more freedom for the people. Alright? People like the people, we own the state. And governments only exist to protect our rights. But communism is basically this. We do not own the state. We have to follow our government, and if we don't follow our government, we die. So in democracy, you can own land. You can, you can go to shops. You can you can be rich or you can be poor. All right. But in communism, everyone's the same. They try to, reduce class. There's only one class, all right, and everyone's the same. You can't own property. You can't open shops, and you are not rich or poor. It's for the government to decide. And last but not least, the only way to get food or land was from the government. And if governments can't provide that, usually the communist system will collapse, because if you can't be a communist system, then what's the damn point? Is that democracy has more freedom of speech. Freedom of speech is basically like you can say what you want without getting arrested. Or like for example, but usually it limits violence and stuff. Like you can say things like go for things like we need more gay rights, or protect the war veterans or something from getting discriminated. But in communism, it's best that you keep your mouth shut, because they have literally zero freedom of rights. That's why there are usually zero rebellions, because they're all dead. They're shot to death in the streets. There are, no public meetings usually. The most infamous state to do that is North Korea. Last but not least, usually, not many people just side with the government, because they got no money, they got no food, they got no property, and most likely people will be scared of losing their own lives, because we don't want to risk it. And last but not least, democracy and communism. Well, communism, if it will not lead to anything. All right, communism, if it ends, it will only change into another ideology. It will never collapse into another ideology. But democracy, like I said before, it will collapse into fascism. But communism, it's basically another form of a totalitarianism. So, yeah, it's a long word, and I definitely did not pronounce that correctly. If you want to, correct me in the comments. So, totalitarianism is basically like one ruler, supreme, alright? He has to be worshipped like a hero, or maybe even a god. You have to follow his orders. No one mistreats him or misjudges him. All right, that's basically it. And most famous communist leaders known to this day are these four men. First, Vladimir Lenin. All right, he was the founder of the Soviet Union. And then there's Stalin. Stalin was the leader of the revolution of the Soviet Union after that. Actually, there's five, and then there's Mr. Ho Chi Minh, which is the leader of my home country. He was the communist chairman for my native country, Vietnam. Ho Chi Minh. probably the most famous guy out there. Then there's let me think. Right. Then there's Mao Zedong, either the second chairman of the Communist Party. And lastly, there's Fidel Castro. He was the leader of the first communist government in the Western Hemisphere. Because, most, like Russia, China, and Vietnam, they were all in the Eastern Hemisphere. But Cuba, it was in the Western. So, technically, it was the first communist country in the Western Hemisphere. In democracy, they have quite a lot of rulers, so I'm not just gonna say. So, yeah. That is the difference between democracy and communism. Thank you for watching this video, and if you can support me, like and subscribe. Which probably no one listens to me because literally no one watches my videos.